The title of today's message is Trash is Trash. Say it with me. Trash is trash. So remember that. Remember that. Okay? So, and I'm just going to go follow my notes. If you see me looking down, that's what I'm doing per any video. So I had this discussion with someone, and with family members, and then we're talking about deadbeat dads. And so it was two dads. So it was one that was talking about that wasn't too much in someone's life. There was another family member or deadbeat dad, I guess, who completely abandoned the whole family. And so I was talking about somebody and called them a deadbeat dad, and they said, well, look at it this way. They said one's garbage disposal and one's trash. And they were trying to get me to see the other deadbeat dad, as not as bad because they were more garbage disposal trash, aka kind of recyclable or in a certain way, versus someone that was trash that you throw out. And I remember looking at them and saying, in all seriousness, I said, it's still trash though. And I remember it like a light bulb popped up on their head and in their head, and they were looking at me like, okay, her standards are higher than ours, or wait a minute, it still is trash. And that's the title of today's word. Trash is still trash. Trash is trash. It doesn't matter the levels to it. It doesn't matter garbage disposal or whatever you want to claim, or dirt or mud, or trash is trash. And then the question I want to ask you guys is, why pick through the trash looking for crumbs? Instead, what you need to do is change your perspective. So you remember I told you when I told them, I was like, it's still trash. And I remember they just thought about it. And like I said, the light bulb popped up in their head. Our standards are based on our perception. Your standards are based on your perception. We look at people we perceive to have high standards, and we think they just have high standards just to have high standards. No, their standards are built on their perception. If they perceive themselves to be worthy, then they're gonna create boundaries about their worth. You see it as high standards, but that's how they see themselves. In the same way, someone else, we might see them as having low standards, but the truth is they don't just have low standards. They have a bad perception of themselves. If they perceive themselves to be low in worth and unworthy, not even just low in worth, but unworthy of love or treatment, or whatever it could be, or of a good job, or having even money or income, that's going to predict their standards, because it's built off of their perception. They're going to allow people to come in and treat them like dirt. They're going to allow people to walk in and out of their life. They're going to allow people to talk to them and treat them like trash, because that's how they perceive themselves to be, trash. So our standards again are based on our perception, and based off of your perception it determines what you tolerate and allow, what you answer to, yes, or what you say no to, and what you say yes to. Who you surround yourself around, aka trash. Trash people, just people that treat you like trash or just are trash in character. So you're thinking, how do I increase my standards? Or some people are like, I want to be like those people that have high standards, or I don't want to be like those people that have low standards. You need to change, you need to change your perception. You need to shift it. Shift into the way that God, align your perception the way God wants you to have, the way God wants you to be. Align it to God's perception of you, and you're going to have the standards that you need to have. You're going to build the boundaries that you need to have. You're going to carry yourself the way you need to be carried. So again, trash is trash. Trash is trash. Say it with me. We're going to keep repeating this. Trash is trash. Close your eyes and say it now. Trash is trash. Okay? It doesn't matter if it's you went to a fast food place and you're throwing away the garbage, or trash is trash. How about that? So certain things to ask yourself, why do you do this? Why do you tolerate trash? Why do you surround yourself around trash? Why do we keep trying to make excuses for trash? Why do you see, like I said, with this deadbeat person, why do we sit here and try to pick through trash, try to look for crumbs, try to look for the good in trash? And I'm going to ask you this question so you can ask yourself this. Does it serve you? Does it really, really serve you? Ask yourself the question, does it serve me? I don't know what that trash is for you. You might be picking through friends or job opportunities where it's the same bummy job, you go job to job, it's the same bummy benefits, same low pay, they asking you to do a whole bunch. It might be family members, they treating you like crap, talking behind your back. You all anxious every time you're around this side of the family, then you go around that side of the family and you're anxious around them. Why are you surrounding yourself around trash? Why are you sitting here making excuses for trash? Relationship to relationship, friends to friends. You keep making excuses, but does this even serve you? Does it serve you? Answer that question. Does it serve you? Say it louder. Does it serve you? What is your answer? That's what you need to keep that in mind. If it requires you to lower your worth and sense of value, it is trash. Whoever you're hanging around, whatever you got in your life, if it lowers your worth, requires you to lower your worth and sense of value, your perception, it is trash. You need to understand that. You need to understand that anybody that you're around that's telling you that your standard's too high. Girl, I don't know. Oh, boy, I don't know who you think you are. Oh, you think you Mr. Hot Shot. You bougie. Like all these different things. You try to lower your sense of value. I've had people tell me, I'ma humble you. You need to be humble. I'ma humble you. Excuse you? The only person that can humble me is God. What you talking about? I'ma humble you. I've had people tell me that. And this is my personal indicator. I've said this in another video before. I think it was about the validation video of learning to use your voice, but I might tag it up here. But this is one of my personal indicators, and this might be something that you might need to create for yourself. So if you have notes or you have a pen and paper or something, you could write this down. But my personal indicator is if I'm being molded into a form or made to fit into a box, it doesn't serve me. So one way I can recognize trash or when people don't serve me is when they try to make me conform or try to place me in a box. So if I ever feel like I got to shrink or just fit into this box, I'm like, oh yeah, this ain't the right place for me to be. If I feel like I'm caged, my voice is silenced, I'm like, oh no, I'm in the wrong environment, I'm in the wrong space, I gotta get out of here. That ain't for me. So you might want to create a personal indicator for you and a saying for you, a phrase where you can write it on a sticky note for now. One thing I love to do is use ChatGPT or Gemini, and I'll take a phrase. So you might say, whenever they try to put me in a box, I need to leave. Whatever that thing is for you, and then tell them to create a phone background for you so you can make it your screensaver for your phone. That's one thing I love to do. Okay, moving on. Stop picking through the garbage. Stop picking through the trash. Stop looking for crumbs. Stop looking for the good pieces of crumbs. Stop looking for the good pieces in the trash. It's still trash at the end of the day. Watch this. You wonder why you have roaches, spiritual roaches. You wondering why you keep attracting the wrong people, why you keep attracting roaches. Why? And you see the presence of rats, monitoring spirits, and just all these different things. You wonder where that stench is coming from. You like, why are you smelling poverty and fakeness in a room, or wish-washy and all this stuff nice and nasty? Like, it's a stench that you smell. And I don't know what that is for you, but it's like a stench. Spiritual stench. You seeing roaches, you seeing rats, right? It's because you're picking through the trash, looking for the good in it. But at the end of the day, it's still trash. Your old perception has you seeing it as a treasure. So what you're doing, you don't even, and think about it from this perspective also. Right now, let's say from here and before this video, certain things you didn't see as trash before. So you going along your journey, you're like, oh, I like this. So you picking it up. Or everybody else, like, their standards too high, but your standards mid-level or at the bottom. You don't even see your standards as low. You just tolerate certain behaviors. You accept certain behaviors. You don't say no to certain things. You don't say yes to certain things. What's another one I just said? You surround yourself around stuff that you think is treasures. You looking at people based off their looks, or you keep, the word is not forgiving people. You keep looking for the good in people who do wrong. You keep looking for their childhood trauma, like, well, they were just abused, or they were just making excuses for them and ignoring the red flags. And so your old perception has you seeing it as a treasure. That's why you're confused where the stench is coming from. You're like, what is that smell? Why do I feel depressed? Why do I feel anxious? Why do I feel miserable every time I go hang around those friends? Every time I hang around friends, and you might find yourself to a point where you're like, I hate people. I don't like people. I don't like family. I don't like working. I don't like this. I don't like that. But the truth isn't that you don't like working, or you don't like family, or you don't like friends. The thing is, you kept overlooking the red flags. The thing is, you keep picking through the trash. Your old perception has you keep making excuses for people. And so now you see the roaches. Why am I around all these people? And all of a sudden, it's like you woke up to fake people. Or you tell this one person thing, all of a sudden everybody start treating you a certain way. You recognizing that somebody going to talk behind your back. Why every time I go to a job, it's like rumors come out of nowhere? Because every time you go to a job, you looking to be picked as a friend. You going through the trash, thinking it's treasure. You don't even see it at the trash that it is. You collecting things out the trash, and it stink. It don't stink, it stink. It's a woo-wee. It stink. You gotta say, like, yo, what is that? What is it? Like, I don't know if you ever had somebody stink like must. I've been on a plane before, and this one man, he kept sticking his arms up and the fan blowing. I said, man, put your arms down. What is you doing? Listen, what's the lady name, the flight attendant? I'm like, sis, tell him to put his arm down. I don't know why he even came on this plane. Like, TSA should have checked him right at the gate. Like, told him, no, we can't do that. Them underarms is a bomb threat. And then, listen, okay. Kind of got off topic. Your standards are low if you're picking from the trash. Your perception needs to be shifted. So this is a declaration. This is a declaration that you need to make right now. And you can just repeat after me. I'm going to say it sentence for sentence, okay? I will see trash for trash. I will see trash for trash. I will see trash for trash. I will not tolerate bottom of the barrel. 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 I will not accept the crumbs. I will not accept the crumbs. I will not accept the crumbs. We're going to say all three of them back to back. I will see trash for trash. I will not tolerate bottom of the barrel. I will not accept the crumbs. Why, guys? Because trash is trash. Why, guys? Because trash is trash. Why, guys? Because, okay, you got it. So let me tell you my experiences. Trash is trash. So y'all remember the first one, I came to the point where I was like, trash is trash, right? So here's my second experience. So throughout life, maybe I've experienced what I'm about to talk about. When I was growing up, I used to just be in places where it was just different races. Okay, so I've been places growing up where there were just racist people, even throughout life. But I remember being a child in this restaurant with me and my family, and it was this lady, it was this white racist lady, and she was just staring at me with a stank face, just evil. It was just, her face was just ugly, it was just balled up, and she was just mad. The family, I remember her husband telling her, like, leave us alone, like leave them alone, like, why you being like that? And she just like, just mad, just evil, just ugh. And so she was mad, she was angry, she was bitter, she hated me for not meeting her expectations and just for simply existing, for whatever it is. Maybe she only wanted white people in the restaurant. I don't know. But she just did not like me for whatever reason. She was racist. And people make excuses for people like this all the time. She was older. They could say, well, you know, it's like some people say, excuse my grandfather, or excuse my grandma, excuse my wife. She was born in a different time. All these excuses that people make. And I'm just like, no, they ain't got nothing to do with me, baby. Well, they need to recognize what year it is. Or they going to recognize the hands. I'm joking. But then here's the flip side of it, right? So then one day I'm walking out, and I remember I had my hair, it was magenta. I had magenta hair, 2 puff balls, hair all out. My hair is 4C texture, but it was afro hair. Anyway, so I'm walking out. I remember being in Walmart, and I remember this black lady. She saw me walking. She saw my hair. I would get a few stares, but she stared at me, and she gave me the same look, just nasty, like, as I'm walking. And I remember, like, looking like, why is she mad? Because I got my hair this way. Like, you sitting here wearing some Chinese woman's hair, her bob, something that looks natural on her, sis. Like, who wears that in America? Like, Anyway, I ain't about to go that deep. But sis, that wig ain't it. The wig you wearing, it don't even look the way it. How dare you just look at my hair and try to judge me? Mind your business. If you don't like my hair, you don't like my hair. Keep it moving. What you mad for? So the same thing with this bitter black lady or judgmental black woman. She was mad. She was angry. She gave the same evil stare because I didn't meet her expectations. And just for me, simply existing. She didn't have that smoke for anybody else. Just me. Okay, and so a lot of people like to make excuses for these type of behaviors. They'll say, well, you want to have to excuse her. They grew up at that time. They've never seen any hair like that. Or they'll blame the white man. Or they'll say, that's internalized self-hate, internalized anti-blackness. Just excuse her. And they'll make the same excuses, right? And I say, no, that ain't got nothing to do with me. I didn't raise that woman. I didn't put her through this. So don't put me through it. The point that I'm trying to make is both were bitter and hateful, and they did not like my existence, and I did not meet their expectations. Both of them were saying the same at the core. For whatever reason, whatever was going on internally inside of them was hateful. They had the same they were the same internally, but they had a different display of and reasoning for their hate. And why they do what they do. Both displayed trash treatment and behavior. Both are trash, and trash is trash. So the same way, and I use that example because people always want to make an excuse. They're like, of course, if I talk about deadbeat dads, they're going to say, oh, yeah, deadbeat dad is a deadbeat dad because I already got that label. But here I gave this example of the racist white woman versus the bitter black woman. I've heard white people make excuses for the racist white woman on their end. It's like most black people will sit up there or any other race and say, of course that's messed up. Like, that's not. You shouldn't tolerate that. But then here go the black person who doesn't like black hair or black features, or they say anti-black things, and they just like, well, at that time they grew up and it's internal. No, both got the same energy for me. Both I ain't do nothing to. Both had the same evil stare. Both had the same I want to say ambition, but intentions. And it was to control me, to make me feel uncomfortable in that space. So I don't care whether she white, black, woman, man, or whatever. I ain't do nothing to you, so what they got to do with me? So that trash treatment, whether it's a black person, or that trash treatment, whether it's a white person, male, female, tall person, fat person, skinny person, introvert, extrovert, all these different things. And I'm just using race right now, but these could be any different thing. Is trash. Both is trash treatment. I don't tolerate either one. And that's why I wrote, yeah, that's funny. I don't tolerate either and see both as the same. Like in the first example, many people tolerate trash. They excuse it because their perception is one is better than the other, when both are exactly the same. They are both the same at the core. All it is how it's displayed, how it manifests is completely different. But at the core, it's the same thing. I don't like what you're doing. I don't like that you exist in my space. And I'm going to let you know about it. So I'm going to give you an evil, nasty stare. Baby, I don't care if you were born in the 1950s, the 1960s, 2010. I don't care when you were born. I don't care what you went through. That is no excuse to treat me like crap or give me an evil, nasty stare. I ain't do it to you. And I'm not going to do it back to you. But that's weird. And the same thing how I do with those people. I love on those people. I forgive them and I move on. Somebody might say, oh, well, this one is more worthy of respect or forgiveness than the other one. I'm like, because people see racism as worse than anti-blackness. I'm like, you both saying the same thing. You both coming from the same principle. And here's the thing. We're going to talk about perception, right? All deceptions. That is the deception. Seeing one as better and one as worse. That is the deception. The enemy wants to deceive you and cause you to become distracted. That's the plans of the enemy. That's why we have so much division in the world, is because we see one is good and one is bad. Or in case you ever heard the term sin is sin, we can see homosexuality is bad, but smoking weed is a different level. Baby, sin is sin. Or this one over here, she just touching and rubbing, but this one right here having full-blown sex. Baby, sin is sin. Don't be out here thinking you better than the next, because you deem your sin less better or less not as bad as the next person. Sin is sin. Trash is trash. It is what it is. It don't matter how it displays itself or how it manifests. At the core of it still is the same thing. Trash is trash. One is not better than the other. I'm not going to sit up there going through the trash trying to decipher, look for the treasure or the good in something. Oh, this one less evil than that. That's why I'm telling y'all, when you try to make one better than the other, or try to see it as not as bad, what you're doing is going through the trash and trying to see the good in it. And that's why your life stinks. That's why it stinks. That's why you got roaches and rats around you. That's why you living in filth, spiritual filth. Because you don't see the trash for what it is. It's your perception. And the Satan is deceiving you. The enemy, that's the thing, is throughout these people, like I said, I dealt with these people, and I want to stay here for a second so y'all can understand. I dealt with these people the same because I see that it's the enemy coming against me. In both sides, it's if you're looking with a natural eye, you're not discerning what it is. You're gonna see as, here go these black bitter people, or here go these white racist people. I even had like other races do certain things, Latino. I've been in different places. I ain't gonna go too deep on that. But that's how the enemy is gonna try to deceive you to think one is better than the other, so you can be distracted. That is the distraction. That's why people are having a hard time staying focused. You tell you why? Because you're distracted. You're thinking from a worldly sense. You're not seeing, you don't have discernment. And your perception right now is looking in the natural realm. You're looking at what people are doing to you, but you're not seeing the enemy. I remember one time I was sitting in a car with a family member, and it was just, I felt my back tense up. I just knew that they were sending like thinking evil. I could just feel something evil coming against me through that person. And then when I looked at them spiritually, I saw them looking at me, even though their eyes was closed. But when I looked behind them spiritually, God showed me that it was Satan behind them pulling strings, like they were like a ventriloquist or like a dummy or something like that. Like Satan just pulling the strings, making them do this and that, making them think certain things about me so they can see incantations, so they can say stuff like, I hope she die, or I hope she get in a car accident, or why she here, like evil stuff that people think. Some of this stuff y'all be thinking yourself, and it's Satan pulling those strings. It's Satan coming against these people. The same person, like I said, on both sides with the women. It's Satan pulling the strings. It's Satan doing this to me, trying to come against me. And I see that. So I'm not blinded by the deception. These are processes, y'all. You're new to it, not bad at it. You're new to it, you're not bad at it. So that's one thing I'm going to say pretty much in a lot of different videos is you're new to it. So forgive yourself if you saw in the natural realm, if you weren't seeing this and discerning of what you've been doing. I'm going to move on. Write in the comments, trash is trash. I decree and declare that I will see trash as for trash. Just put in the comments that you're paying attention. Now I'm going to give you one last example. And I want to say this. I've been in many rooms. I've been in different places. I've been on trips. God has sent me in some places and I didn't know the lesson right off the bat. And sometimes Satan or things just happen and God turn it around for your good. So I remember my first cruise. I went up there. And it was barely any black people. I flew out to Miami, Florida. That's where the port was. Got on my cruise. And it was barely any black people there. But most of the workers, and if you ever been on a cruise, you know most of the workers up there are foreign. They're from a different country that work on cruise ships. And so most of them up there were black. And they were foreign black. And so not black American is what I'm saying. Or from America. And so the whole time on this cruise, not everybody, but I want to make a quick disclaimer. I'm talking about negative experiences because we're talking about trash is trash. So overall, I had a great experience, but I'm going to talk about the negative experience that I had today. And they were looking at me like with hate and disdain, like, why are you here? Like, they were fine serving everybody else but me. So I remember certain people, they're just like giving me this stank, nastiest look. And so I want to explain something to you guys. So they gave me, these foreign black people gave me evil stares and treated other races better. That was my experience. They were just mad, all this thing, mad, bitter, resentful, all these things. Like, it's so sad that this was my experience. Like, I'm like, everything is good. Why are you treating me like this? None of the other races were, if they were a staff and they were of another race, they weren't treating me like that. I can't say anybody else of another race just looked at me and nasty and all. It was only the ones that did do it were black. And I'm not going to make it, look, watch this, I told you, they're not making excuses, but I want to give you, this is evidence. Them knuckles was different colors. So there was that type of black. If you get what I'm saying, them skin bleaching type of people. If you skin bleaching, you don't love yourself. I'm just going to say that to you. Okay. So I can ask myself this question. Do I now go around hating these people and calling them coons? I'm like, what's up? Okay, y'all self-hating. Y'all coons. Y'all this and that. With you. But also, do I make excuses and say, well, that's how some people are, and just tolerate them, right? But then I notice people of other races stared at me, and this one is so funny to me. So even though I went on a cruise around December, so it wasn't too many kids, but kids usually walk by themselves in groups around a cruise ship. So I'm on an elevator, and I remember 4 kids came in. So, or when I got in, 4 kids was there, or I was already up there and 4 kids came in. That's how I know. So I was standing there, and I just felt a huge energy shift. Like it just, I just had to turn around. So I'm just like, okay, something is off. So I turned to look at the 4 kids, or so I thought was 4 kids. And I turned kind of slowly and look, because I'm looking around, because it's a all, glass elevator. And I looked, turns out it wasn't kids. Because I'm my height, and they about this height. Like, literally. I'm not even trying to be funny. And I looked, and I saw the mama with her 2 kids, and she's covering her 2 kids and looking scared at me. And then the husband is in front of the wife, and he's looking at me like this, like, please don't hit me, but I'll punch you if I have to. And I'm just like, they were looking at me like, Godzilla, Godzilla. And I'm just like, I felt like a man in that moment. I was like, it's very rare that I feel like a man, but that made me feel so manly, because I'm just like, yo, why they looking at me like I'm about to hurt them? I'm minding my business, standing on the elevator. I feel their energy turn around, and they scared looking at me like I'm a Godzilla or something, like I'm a reptile about to hurt them. I'm just like, what even is this? But then, though they were fearful, and somebody might try to make excuses for it, well, they were short, they were whatever, disturbed, but it was still a mistreatment of me. What did I do to them? Why that man why the whole family in defense mode, like I'm trying to do something to them, and I'm just minding my business in the elevator? Both are the same. Both are the same. I did nothing to these people. Both are the same. This is my same experience while I'm on this cruise ship, right? I've been in many rooms, and a common theme I've experienced is the others think I don't deserve to be in that room. That's how I talked about with the foreign black people that were on this cruise ship. A lot of people don't like my presence. They're disturbed by my presence. They're fearful of my presence. That's why a lot of police officers shoot black people, because they're fearful. As much as people want to grab those guns and act like they all, big and bad, they scared at the end of the day. One thing my dad always told me was, he used to say this all the time, a scared person will kill you. They'll kill you just to get away from you because they're scared of you. You move, make a sharp movement, they're already grabbing the gun because they're scared of you. The same thing, so somebody might make an excuse with the people in the elevator where they just short, and they I'm like, I ain't do nothing to them people. I ain't do nothing to them people. They're already in defense mode, and I'm just existing. All these other tall, other racist people, they ain't scared, but they in the elevator with me and they scared. Like, what do I do to them? Both are the same. So when I walk in some rooms years later, the same people exist in different displays. When I go in certain rooms today, when God sends me in certain rooms, it's people that still believe that I don't deserve to be there. It's people that still be mad. It be black people that be mad that I'm in a room. It be white people mad that I'm in a room. It be women mad that I'm in a room. It be men mad that I'm in a room. And for different reasons. I went to this convention, and some women were looking at me like, dang, I thought I was going to be the only woman here. I thought I was going to be the best looking woman here, or the only good looking woman here. Dang, I thought I was going to be the only person from North Carolina here. I thought I was going to be the only Southern person here. I thought I was going to be the only black person here, and then they mad. I thought I was going to be the tallest woman up in here. I thought I was going to have the best presence, the only person with a light around them. I thought I was going to be the most outgoing person. Like, they could be mad for they don't like you and they're racist, to the point where they thought they were the only one. Or they're jealous and envious of you. Whatever the reason is. Years later, I still have to deal with this when I go in rooms. Every room I go in, there are going to be people like this for the rest of my life. For the rest of your life, every room that you walk into, it's going to be people that don't like you. There's going to be different races for different reasons. They're not even going to like you. They're going to think you don't deserve to be there. They're going to make it known. They're going to make it known every time. And you could be distracted, because this is how Satan want to deceive you. Have you distracted? Why are they staring at me? I still got to deal with some of this stuff like that. Why they staring at me? Why she mad at me? And Satan knows on the forefront, it's this racist white woman or this racist Hispanic woman looking at you. or this bitter black woman looking at you. And I know people don't like these tropes, but some of this stuff here, racism, bitterness, it's the same thing. They're looking at you mad, and Satan's going to send them to you because he knows you're easily distracted. All I got to do is have them look at you nasty. All I got to do is have them lie on you. And once they lie on you, once they give you that nasty look, once they come over to you and almost bump you or do bump you, that's going to get you out of character. For the rest of the day, you might not go off on them and knock them across their head, but for the rest of the day, you're going to be mad thinking about that. You ain't going to be talking to God because you're going to be trying to calm down for the rest of the day. Satan, all he got to do is send somebody to bump you, and you out of character. You out of line. Your mindset, your perception is already shifted. You can't even think about what God has for you. You're not even listening to why God sent you in the room because you still distracted with what just happened. So why be mad at one and not the other? But most importantly, why even be mad at all? Years later, they still exist and will always exist. Your job is to rise above the deception. All this stuff going in the world, and it's only getting worse. But God has given us clarity. God has given us discernment. God is sending people like me to give a word like this to help you. Yes, this world, certain things are getting worse. There are more and more things to be distracted by every single day. It's more and more deceptions. People in the studio, Satan in the studio. Satan is very strategic. Very strategic. Yes, he's working against you. While you by yourself, Satan got a team of people working against you. Monitoring spirits. Familiar spirits coming against you. Yes, you have a spiritual team too. You have God, the Holy Spirit, the angels. But let me tell you this. Your job is to rise above the deception and not let it become a distraction. Don't let it become a distraction. The things of this world. I don't care who looking at you and for what reason. I don't care who's coming against you and for whatever reason. All of it is trash. Trash is trash. All of them. I know we try to make excuses. I know, and this is something specific to me as a black person. I like with black people and stuff like this. They always try to make excuses for it. They always trying to get me and other people, I notice, to accept trash. I said, baby, I don't care what y'all got to say. They always try to say we all in it together, try to stick together. Listen, baby, that's trash behavior. If your standards are low based off of your perception, then that's you. But baby girl, baby boy, they ain't me. So if you ever try to make me trying to pick up the crumbs, eat the crumbs, accept the crumbs, see that trash as a treasure, baby, it ain't finna happen. You gonna forever be confused about me, cause they ain't how that work. So that's one thing I don't play, but I can get passionate about. But I can't stand when people try to put you in a box. Period. But then based off of race. It be your own people, like they say. I don't idolize blackness. I'm a child of God. I can't stand it. I don't like it. It damages so many people. It's like when you're doing good, it's like you're not black enough or you're not this enough. You're against us. But then as soon as you're doing, when you're for them, there's all of a sudden it's this crab in a barrel mentality. Notice when you're doing, when you're for the culture, it's like you're in your worst state. But as soon as you get rid of all those things that's keeping you bound, all of a sudden you're not black enough. That's another topic. Rising above is to shift your perception, not try to raise your standards. This ain't about raising your standards. That's going to come. That's going to come. That's going to come. Before the egg was created, the chicken was created. Before eggs were formed, God formed the animals. Okay? The animals came first. That's in Genesis. Genesis chapters 1 and 2. The animals were formed. The animals came, then the eggs, and then all of that. Okay? So, if you change and shift your perception, your standards are going to change as a result. Trash is trash. Trash is trash. Trash is trash. It doesn't matter what side. It doesn't matter how it manifests. It doesn't matter how it's displayed. At the core of it, it's still trash. Why are you in the trash? God called you to abundance. Why are you picking through the trash? Talking about it's slim pickings. Get out of the trash. Get out of the trash. Stop looking through the trash. God didn't call you to be the trash man. God didn't call you to be the trash woman. Stop making excuses and tolerating it. Once you change your perception, then your mindset and standards follow. You saying, God, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And first, seek the kingdom of God within you. You trying to change your standards in everyday life. I don't know what it is. If it's dating, friends, whatever it is, how your just quality of life. The first thing you're going to have to do is change this. And look for God within yourself. Seek the kingdom of God within you. So you're going to have to go to God, but you're going to have to change his mind. Once you change his mind, you shift your perception. That's going to open the door to your mindset being changed. And as your mindset change, everything else follows. Your standards follows. You create boundaries. Those follow. Those come into play. And it's going to make it easier to stay focused. Once you change your perception, all of this ain't a distraction. It exists. It exists. Every room I walk in, every room you're going to walk in, those people are going to be there, give you nasty stares, but you're going to be so focused on what you need to be focused on. It's going to be like they're on the sideline. It's like you're in a race. People screaming can be a distraction to you, and they meant you well. It's going to be people saying, you lose, you're a loser, you suck, whatever. But you're on the sidelines, like you're not focused on them. Don't let those deceptions become a distraction. You need to focus on what you need to focus on. The way of this world, what's coming to this world is good. God has good intention for us. But there's so many distractions and deceptions out there. People arguing. Y'all, every time I go on social media, people arguing online in the comments. I'm like, dang, y'all need to get a life. What y'all so mad about? Y'all people are miserable. Every time I get on social media, I'm just like, what you fussing about now? It don't make no sense. But you need to change your mindset so you can stay focused. It's going to be so much easier to stay focused. So now when you walk in rooms, you can stay focused on the mission, the assignment, and the goal. This is what I want you to leave with. God is calling you to specific assignments. And you cannot be easily distracted. Get this word. God is calling you God has you on assignment. Some of y'all assignments, I ain't about to go that deep. That could be another video. But God has you on assignment. God is trying to send you in rooms for a specific assignment. God is trying to send you to places for a specific assignment. I think about Esther. When God placed her there with the king, she had to go through her own process. Maybe this is your process for a specific assignment. God is trying to send you certain places, but your mindset got to be right. Your mindset got to be right. You can't be easily distracted by what's going on to your left or your right. You can't be partying with trash. You can't be kicking it with trash. You can't be over here going to this job. God done sent you in for a specific assignment. He's trying to make you the supervisor. He's trying to make you the manager. He sent you in there for a business deal. And you over here, you over here gossiping with all these other women so you can feel included. And the only thing that's connecting you to them is the fact that y'all share the same race. Now you up here gossiping with trash. I know people don't like me calling other people trash, but the intentions, what it is, the behavior. You up here gossiping with trash because Satan ruling them, Satan pulling the strings. And you supposed to be where God's placed you. God needs you to be focused. You cannot be easily distracted. Both people are going to be coming against you. I'm about to end this right here. I know I done said this like 5 times. I've been playing a game. I've been playing this game, and it's this game where you got to run up the stairs, and it's this like big giant worm that's supposed to come. It's supposed to be like a scary worm or whatever. It comes and it's gonna try to eat you. So it eats you out. And so as I'm playing this game, I'm winning. I'm learning how to defeat the worm, how to get around it, how to make it chase me so I can corner it and just keep rising. It's different floors, different levels. You just got to keep running and running. So while everybody keep getting hold up or distracted by this worm, I know how to get around it. That's how we know how to do. But then here's another thing that happened within this game. Then also simultaneously, while I'm trying to defeat this giant worm or the enemy that's after me, that's even chasing after you, and you got to climb up these different levels and rise to the top, right? Now they got people in the game that they can take a hand and slap you out off the stairs or whatever you're trying to go. And it can knock you out the park or knock you down a few levels. And while I'm sitting there and it's people that keep knocking people, anybody in there where they keep knocking them out, most people, they just quit the game. I said, I'm too good at this. I'm very good at this. By the time you done knocked me out of place, you done knocked me a few levels down, but guess what? I'm so good at what I do, I can rise to the top. I'm going to be back and I'm going to run right past you and you can be able to stop me. So simultaneously, while I'm trying to defeat one devil, it's demons trying to come up beside me at the same time. But guess what? God is catapulting you. God gives you strength. If you stay focused on God, okay, all these different things. Somebody crying about the devil, the enemy coming against them. But yeah, we got not only the enemy, but the enemy using all these different 4 or 5 different people. But guess what? You are so good at what you're going to do. That's why God is sending you into the room. You're going to be so good at what you do that while all 5 of these things, most people will cry when one thing come against them. 5 different people, 5 different situations simultaneously happen at one time. It is not going to stop you. It's not going to stop you. That's how Satan be getting people, because they good with the racist people. Like, I done dealt with the racist people. But let somebody be of your skin color try to set you back. And now it's like, it hurts your heart. And you just like, I would have never expected to be your own. I would have never expected that. And then it got you hung up. And so now that your perception has changed and we made these declarations, stay with me. We're at the end. When you walk in these rooms and it seems like everybody against you, you still going to stay focused and complete the assignment that God has for you. It ain't going to faze you. In order to carry out the assignment, you have to stay focused and pure in heart. Here's on top of that. The battle is already won. No matter what you face, recognize the enemy in people. Stay pure in heart. Sometimes it isn't what comes against you, is what happens after it comes against you. I could have been bitter against all white people. I could have been bitter against all Hispanic people when it happened in the elevator. I could have been bitter against all black people. I could have been bitter so many times, resentful. And sometimes I did become that and I had to go heal. I'm human, so I had to go heal. Because that's the thing. What happens when you in the room and people do come against you and it does hurt? I ain't gonna say that it don't hurt. I ain't gonna say you ain't gonna get tired. I ain't gonna say you gonna trip a little bit. You already won. I ain't gonna say you ain't gonna stumble a little bit. But you got to get back up. But you got to gain your balance. Stay connected to God. God's gonna help you get back in balance. And stay pure in heart. Because bitterness, you can get to where you need to get to, but if you carry bitterness with you, that allow the enemy in. Once you learn this, that trash is trash, and to stay focused, and to carry out the assignment, and not to be easily distracted, and start fumbling and like I'm going through the trash, you will become unstoppable, you will become confident, and you will be way more at peace. Overall, once you do these things, you learn these things, God is able to use you. And God is able, most importantly, to use you mightily. My name is TaZhané, but you can call me Tay. And guess what? You can have a great day. Peace.